Welcome, welcome, boys. In this video, we're going to be changing the oil in our 1974 Volkswagen Super Beetle with a 1600cc dual-port engine. This will be my second time changing the oil in this thing. Did it the first time, did not film it, but we will this time. So if we go underneath of here, in the case of my car, I actually have a magnet on my drain plug. It covers it because my car does not have an oil filter, as most of these don't unless you've modified it. It just has a little strainer in there. So this magnet is to also catch any metallic particulate that contains iron. So it will be held at the bottom of the engine past the screen so as not to get pumped back into the engine, causing any wear. So we just need to pry that thing off, and then that'll give us access to the drain plug, and then we'll let it drain. And another good news, since I didn't lower my car, and this engine is not even an arm's length from the back under it, I don't have to lift this car up to do this job. There we go. Alright, we'll let that do its thing. I need to wash my hands, and then we'll come back once that's done. Okay, boys, and you're going to need this kit. Oil change gasket kit. Comes with new paper gasket here. There's two of them, because one goes on that metal ring we have to take off that holds the screen in place, and then one goes on the other side, so it's kind of like a little sandwich action. You'll see when I get it off. And it also comes with new crush washers, one for each of those little 10 mils that need to come off. And then the big one for the actual drain plug. What I like to do is actually coat them in grease. I pump a little grease out of here, wipe it around all the gaskets, both sides, and that way any imperfections should still seal out oil from leaking. So nothing's coming out now, so we'll go ahead and get those little 10 mils off, pull that deal out of there, and then check my screen, see how dirty it is or is not. Alright, now I've already cracked these loose with the socket. These are just holding this little metal plate on. They're 10 mil, they're just little caps. The washer should come off with them. If it doesn't, not a biggie. We got new ones anyway. So they fall in here. Not a big deal. If you will. You see that just comes right out of there. And I guess in hindsight I probably should have got something to set this on, but I guess I'll set it on the cardboard. So now I should be able just to pull down our screen here. But you can reuse these screens, so do try to at least not mangle it. Alright, I think we're good. I think I managed to get this thing out of here without damaging it. So I can reuse this screen after I clean it, unless it's too clogged. There we go. Now the strainer looks pretty clean. So this is a look at the strainer removed. And when you put it back in, it goes paper gasket on either side of the strainer. So it's like a little sandwich there. Gasket, the strainer, the other gasket, so that it seals this side up against the bottom of the pan, and the other side against this piece of metal there. And then on the other side of this is where all those little small crush washers go. One for each one of those caps that seal up against it, and then the big drain plug itself. And my screen looks pretty clean, so I'm really just going to rinse it out a little and then put it back in. So I probably could have gotten away with just draining and filling since the screen is clean. So we're going to do all that, and then part of the oil change procedure should be adjusting your valve lash as well. So I'm going to do that in this video, and then once you complete that, you should be good to go on your oil change and valve lash adjustment. Okay, and here's our new paper gaskets on. We have the paper gasket, oil screen, paper gasket, our metal plate here, and we did pump some grease out and coat both sides of the paper gaskets, both sides of both of them. And that acts as kind of an RTV and will fill in any imperfections in the metal that it's mating to reduce leaks. These Volkswagens will always leak because remember there is no front main seal. So you're always going to leak a little on your garage floor. That's why I put the cardboard down. And once the oil thins out pretty much right when you park at work or grocery store, wherever you're going, you're going to immediately already have like a drop or two on the ground and a few more before you leave. But I did this last oil change and I never had to add any, and I've driven this thing 1,500, 2,000 miles or something between oil changes. Now I know my filter screen was quite clean. Next time I'm probably just going to drain and fill. So we're going to get this back up in there, and then use our small little crush washers to put on the studs that these caps tighten onto. And since they're caps and not just nuts that are all the way through, remember you shouldn't go completely crazy on the torque here. You need to go just enough so it doesn't leak. And what I do is I go just enough to where I think it's not going to leak, and then after every drive I get underneath the car and check, and it looks like it leaked a little out of here. Then I just torque a little more. Just tighten them a little more, and then just keep doing that until it stops leaking, until the only leak is coming out of the main seal down into this tin and then onto the ground. So we're going to do that next. I wipe this. Strainer. We have the gasket and this piece. Alright, that'll do for now. And I'm going to get the oil out of the way, then we're going to pull the valve covers off. We have valve cover on this side, and on the other side. We're going to start on the other side. So all we got to do is get my giant wrench, put the car in neutral, rotate top dead center on cylinder 1. We'll pull the valve cover off first to make sure we're on cylinder 1, not cylinder 3's top dead center. You can also look in the distributor to figure that out. But I'll just look at the valves themselves on the cover, and then we'll adjust our valve lash. Okay, I have the engine set to top dead center. I'm unsure if it's cylinder 1 or 3 yet, but I'll know once I get underneath and pull the valve cover off. You want to rotate in a counterclockwise direction, 180 degrees. And then that way you'll be able to get the next cylinder on this side. So that thing was holding the valve cover on, so we should need to pry it down. And then we'll have our valve cover off. And then we can check the valve lash and adjust as necessary. This should come off without much need for persuasion, but it might require a little, I guess. There we go. That came off, my cork gasket came off with it. My head's not going to be in your way. In fact, it probably will be. But there's not much I can do about that. So we're going to loosen this scotch. And this one scotch. Okay. And as I'm loosening this is going with it, so we want to not do that. Okay, great. Now, we can get the feeler gauge in here. It's .006. So, using the screwdriver, I want to rotate and back this out. Enough. I can get the feeler gauge in here. Okay. Now I get that in there. This one's going to be a pain in the ass. Every time I rotate this thing, it rotates that nut. So I think that's good there. Let me go a little tighter just to check. That's too much drag. So let's go back. That's pretty good. So you want to be able to move that up and down a bit. And you want to be able to get the feeler gauge in there with a slight amount of drag as I can hear. So now we need to hold this in position with the screwdriver and tighten the nut. Nut is tight. We would check again. Okay. That still moves. Still makes a noise. Let's check the feeler gauge again. And still get it in there. A slight amount of drag. So this should be good. Just kind of tighten this nut down a little more. And then we move on to the next valve, the intake valve in cylinder 1. Okay, that should be good. Alright, that should be good for cylinder 1. And as you can see, we're at top dead center. So now we rotate 180 degrees to the left, bottom dead center, and then we'll be able to do cylinder 2 on this side. Rinse and repeat for the other side. I'm going to do that off camera because you don't need to see that. It's the same procedure. Okay, boys, and with all the valves adjusted, I'm reusing the quart gaskets and the valve covers, so all I have to do is, which I've already done, coat them with a little bit of grease from the grease gun, and then secure them back in place, and we're ready to add oil back to the crankcase. Okay, boys, and with valve covers reattached, oil inserted through there, we're pretty much good to go. I just move this hose out of the way, so if you pull the dipstick, we're a little high, but that's okay. We'll lose a little as time goes on. But that's it. That's how we change the oil in our 1974 VW Beetle. And in just a short time that it's been sitting here, as you can see, we already have some oil spots. So again, there is no solving this quote-unquote problem. It just does what it does. That's the way it is. They leak oil occasionally. But she's done. So alright, hope you enjoyed the video. I guess the next one will be tuning the carburetor and adjusting the timing, although I kind of cover that in that thermal imaging camera video, but I might do that here for the single carb, and then we'll probably do some other videos of also tuning and timing a dual carb setup. That is dual single barrel carbs on each side, and then dual Webers as well. We'll do a video on tuning a dual 2-barrel carburetor on each side. You can see the procedure for each. Alright, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, boys. Peace.